The year is 1956. Gamal Abdel Nasser, the charismatic leader of Egypt, stands before a crowd in Alexandria. He announces the nationalization of the Suez Canal. This pivotal waterway connects the Mediterranean Sea to the Red Sea. It is Egypt's lifeline, and Nasser's declaration sends shockwaves across the globe. For decades, the canal had been controlled by foreign powers, primarily Great Britain and France. Nasser's move is a direct challenge to their economic and strategic interests. It is a bold assertion of Egyptian sovereignty. The Suez Canal, completed in 1869, had long been a symbol of Western dominance in the region. Britain, in particular, relied heavily on the canal for its trade and military operations in its vast empire. The nationalization is seen as a threat to the established order, a sign of the rising tide of nationalism sweeping across the Middle East and Africa. Nasser's action is met with fury in London and Paris. Prime Minister Anthony Eden of Britain and Premier Guy Mollet of France see it as an act of aggression, a direct challenge to their authority. The nationalization of the Suez Canal is not merely about economics or control of a waterway. It is about pride, independence, and the right of a nation to control its own destiny. Nasser's move resonates deeply with the Egyptian people, who have long endured foreign occupation and interference. It also sparks a wave of support across the Arab world and beyond, as newly independent nations see in Egypt's defiance a beacon of hope for their own struggles. The stage is set for a confrontation. Britain and France, determined to regain control of the canal and teach Nasser a lesson, begin to plot their response. They find a willing ally in Israel, which has its own score to settle with Egypt. In a secluded villa in Sèvres, France, a clandestine meeting takes place. Representatives from Britain, France, and Israel gather under a veil of secrecy. Their mission to orchestrate a response to Nasser's nationalization of the Suez Canal. The meeting is shrouded in secrecy, hidden from the eyes of the world and even their own governments. The stakes are high and the consequences of failure could be catastrophic. The architect of this secret pact is British Prime Minister Anthony Eden. Eden, haunted by the ghosts of appeasement in the face of Nazi Germany, is determined not to repeat the mistakes of the past. He sees Nasser as a new Hitler, a dictator in the making who must be stopped before he becomes too powerful. Eden finds a willing accomplice in French Premier Guy Mollet, who is eager to reassert France's dwindling prestige on the world stage. Israel, too, has a vested interest in the downfall of Nasser. The Egyptian leader has been a staunch supporter of Palestinian rights and a vocal critic of Israel's policies. He has also allowed Palestinian Fedayeen fighters to use Egyptian territory to launch attacks on Israel. For Israeli Prime Minister David Ben-Gurion, the Suez Crisis presents an opportunity to strike a blow against his enemy and secure his country's borders. The plan that emerges from the meeting in Sèvres is audacious and risky. Israel will launch a surprise attack on Egypt, advancing across the Sinai Peninsula towards the canal. Britain and France will then issue an ultimatum to both sides, demanding they withdraw their forces from the canal zone. When Egypt, as expected, refuses, British and French forces will intervene militarily, ostensibly to separate the combatants but in reality to seize control of the canal. The Sèvres Agreement is a testament to the cynical realpolitik of the Cold War era. Three nations driven by a mix of strategic interests, imperial ambitions, and personal vendettas are willing to risk war to achieve their objectives. They believe they have found a way to outmaneuver both the United States and the Soviet Union, but they have underestimated the forces they are about to unleash.